financially supported by her boyfriend for years, has now broken up with him.
We are starting on a high note, guys.
After the news broke, many netizens expressed sympathy for the man. Previously, he mentioned in a public video that he had covered most of their living expenses, including rent, daily costs, and part of her tuition, both before she enrolled and throughout her nursing school years. He stated that while the pressure had been significant, he was willing to support her education, believing everything would be fine once she started working as a nurse.
It's like he was...
Now, what's up, YouTube? Hopefully you heard that little bit of audio. See, that sounds too familiar. The difference between that chick and my ex was the fact that looks like she actually went. Mine didn't. Nope, I'm still wondering where all that went. Yeah, tuition was like a little over 21,000. And that was every so if I paid it every semester, if I paid it for the year, it was like 84, 85. It was a lot, including books. Well, she never got any of the books. Well, back then they had the things like ebooks, and she would show me them, and I would give her the money for them, and I would go on about my day, expecting her to show me the books, all this stuff. She never did. She didn't even complete getting her GED. Yeah, imagine that. No, I found out she was messing with one of my cousins at GED instead of doing what she was supposed to be doing. Oh yeah, we actually broke up while she was still messing around in GED class. She took so long and procrastinated so much that they were going to kick her out of a program. And then when we got into Cedar Hill, or no, she was living in Cedar Hill at that moment. I had found online classes that she could take, thinking that, she really felt bad for fucking up and that she really wanted it, but supposedly being distracted by other people while she was out. And there was a whole spew she came up with. But this is what I'm saying to you, that all that, if she would have done it, she still had the plan to run. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's girls out there that will do this to men just to use them. Yeah, they don't love them at all. They have no intention of doing anything that they talk about other than to make him believe that that they're actively doing what they say. Right, there's another one. This guy paid for all the bills and paid for tuition, books, all that. Once she got into nursing or whatever, which that's weird because you can get through Everest and do that. She breaks up with him. He gets kicked out. Imagine that. How come it is that the dude always has to leave? I don't get that. I'll tell you why. Because they set up behind his back to be able to do it. Oh yeah, they research and pay attention on what to do to set you up to where they can take it. Even if it means fucking with stuff that you're doing to make you kind of fail. So they have to slip into everything, like what she did with the emissions. She used it to piss off my landlord, and get me in trouble while I'm working. And what would that cause? It would take me a little bit to figure out that she actually took it, and that it just didn't show up. Okay. There was a time when she gave her mother all my information, and they tried to get disability checks behind my back. Yeah, they told me it was for something else. And I'm like, we don't need all of that. No, business was a little slow for about a week or two, and her and her mom tried to lose their brains. The reason why business was slow for a week or two is because Tiffany was fucking with the business. That's why it was slow. And when I tried to tell her mom that, her mom tried to tell me, well, you can't blame everything on her. I said, look, this ain't a childish thing. Whoever fucking did it is catching the blame. And that's where it came from. And her and her mom called an attitude, which was just a diversion from accountability. They both were teaming up to do what they were doing. Yep. Right. If this was a female that was doing this, oh, law enforcement, courts, all that would have nailed this motherfucker to the wall. But because it's a female, nope. She gets benefit of the doubt. She gets all this other shit that just allows them to get away with what they do. I know for a fact that the reason why this was allowed is because of the same thing that's going on with Epstein. I already know that. People can try and say, well, that has nothing. Yes, they have ties to all those facilities. Yes, they do. Y'all's brains are just not as good as they used to be, I guess. Yeah, 80s and 90s going through something like this, dude, people would have had this connected probably quicker than I had. But some reason today, nope, everybody's in freaking fantasy la la land. The truth, they don't believe. Fiction, they believe so quickly. I don't get it. This is exactly why these kids got hurt. Well, just like yesterday, towards the end, which I didn't know it was the end, I decided to not celebrate these pagan holidays anymore. One, because my son David was bragging that he gets 2 holidays now. Oh yeah, he thought it was the greatest thing in the world to rub all that in my face, for one. For two, I told him, I said, I would watch what you're saying because your dad doesn't believe in these holidays anyway, only your mom does. So my mom's talking to me the other day and she tries to make me feel bad, saying that, oh well, at least they would have had Easter before they passed. Let me tell you something. I'm their father, and I said that they don't need to be celebrating that. See, this is how you women fuck shit up. See, it doesn't matter what the fuck you think. When I say, no, this isn't right for my child, you women just go behind their back and do it any fucking way. That makes them happy. Yeah, well, they can also learn to be happy off of other things. We can be grateful that they're here every day, not just on frickin' holidays, and teach these kids how to be greedy with big business and stuff that has nothing to do with their religion. Yeah, no, don't think so. This is what I mean. This is how grandparents and people fuck with making kids grow. Everybody's got to stick their fucking nose in when you're not good with fucking raising kids anyway. Yeah, you forget. I am very familiar with your work. It was terrible. No, I love her because she's my mom. Other than that, ain't really got much else to say. Yeah, her and my Aunt Kathleen, when all this was going down, were discussing things and all that. And then they tried to take over my investigation. And I'm like, no, you ain't taking over nothing. And she said, excuse me? I said, you didn't live it. You weren't there running back and forth to the hospitals. You weren't there to see all the details and everything that was going on. You heard a couple of things from these kids, and I asked you about that because you brought it to my attention. Things that they had seen while they were around the kids. And she tried to full on just take over everything. And I'm like, no, you're not doing that. A woman that can be manipulated by a woman so quickly? No, I don't think so. Then my Aunt Lisa caught an attitude because her son Chris started jumping in trying to run his mouth to me about her and, protect her, or, well, kind of get back at me for what I said about her. And I told him the same thing. You ain't nothing but a crackhead. You run around kicking in people's doors. You have children yourself. And how many times have you been locked up and almost went down the road for something very stupid that you shouldn't have been doing? So you have no room to talk. The whole time that you're running around being a gangbanger, I'm running a fucking business. You don't have no room to talk at all, period. Yeah, it's because Corey and Tiffany are half brother and sister. They are not step brother. They are half. And they were sleeping together. And they even put it on Facebook. Love you, sis. Look, see, they're calling each other brother and sis, but they are sleeping together at that point. Oh, she did it behind my back with him and Chris. That's why Chris got thrown out of my window. It was open. Yeah, the ground's not soft, but hey, he'll be all right. Well, don't be in my fucking house. Yeah, she tried to pull that shit with Cedar Hill. She had me pay for everything. I had to push her to stay on the lady so she would actually get the place. And she wouldn't listen to me. And I come home from work and I'm like, have you heard anything from her? And she's like, no. I said, did you call? She said, no. I said, well, then call that lady. And she did. She called her. It was a fight, but she, not like that. It was just, I tried to turn it into a goofy, type of argument back and forth. But I told her, I said, yeah, you're not going to get anywhere, dum-dum, if you don't, make some noise. Well, after that, because I was right, the friends that we were renting off just before we were getting this place, because she had already made us lose our other place, again, fighting with the landlord. Yeah. No, she did that in Joppatown. She did that in Perryville. She did that in Port. She did it in Rising Sun. Yes, every place that was in my name, she would conjure up a reason to make me lose it. That's what I'm telling you. At the time, I didn't know she was doing all this. I just thought she had a fucking attitude problem. Yeah, it took me a while to step back and, I didn't even notice, that was her being a gold digger or all that until after the kids passed and all this stuff going on. Didn't even know what the fuck a gold digger was. Nope. I had heard of them, but it was freaking years after we were together. I used to call them piece of shit fucking women. That's all. Gold digger is a freaking hood rat term. But anyway, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like this woman and her mother did. That's the whole reason why she found me. Tried to love bomb me into kids and marriage. I mean, bugging the living shit out of me. And it wasn't like, oh, man, the way she did it. Now, maybe somebody else would have picked up on it because I'm saying something now. Not only that, I was still hurting from Jasmine and what Jen had done to Jazz. And yeah, she rebounded me off of all that. I think it's funny that most of the women think that just because I was a man, I deserved it. No, nobody deserves that. No innocent person not doing anything to you but trying to help you through a life deserves that, whether it's a man or a woman. The thing is, I don't see too many good women like that. I see a lot of them trying to act like that, but they're not that. Yeah, they try to give the appearance to people that they're that, good of a teammate or a person or whatnot, but they're not. Yeah, that's what Jen was upset about. Jen tried to get me to go back with her, not just when she was in Elkton. She tried at Cedar Hill. She tried at Elkton when I took her back to Wes's when she was about to get beat up. Oh, yeah, she was trying all that. She got shot down and she was pissed. And that's how she gets when she doesn't get her way. A lot of women do that. They go silent and then they go into like rogue freaking Terminator mode. And then when things start getting pointed at them, they start playing, oh, I'm just a girl. I wouldn't do that. I don't even know how. Yeah, right. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that she deliberately did just to fuck shit up and make herself look better. Now, a lot of people, well, that's hard to believe. I don't give a fuck what's hard to believe. That's what she did. Just like this dude right there. How many women would say that was hard to believe? Yeah. They know damn well it's not hard to believe. They're just trying to keep that defense up for other women. That's all they're doing. No, I want to get together with MGTOW and some people like that and start getting some actual real fucking laws passed for these fraudulent females. Yeah, the ones that try to baby trap you and marriage trap you and then take every fucking thing you got. Yeah, there should be something in there that they can't do that. I don't give a shit if they're with you when you're building shit anyway. I really don't. They will play the laziest fucking role and still try to end up with half your shit. And because of that, they know. Well, I'm considered the one that helped you. Right. By not doing shit at home. See, to these courts, you tell people that you're a stay at home mom. But to see what you actually did while you were a stay at home mom would not equal up to a mother. Shit, there's babysitters that would have done a better job than that. Are you kidding me? Yeah, when I started working at Pizza Hut and I got her the job at Dunkin', I'm still doing side work, by the way, but I made friends with people there. Pretty much the whole crew except for the one manager he was a dick. But that's why I didn't like him. He was a perverted little, you know what. And I was glad he got fired. And then the Marine that was the manager, he was just as worse. Yeah, that dude, man. Hiring new girls, telling them to change in his office. What the fuck are you doing? Stealing people. He would let people go on deliveries, right? And then he would mark up their ticket and then blame them for doing it and try to get them fired. And he would pocket the money. Oh, he got caught for that and got kicked out. Oh, I thought that was hilarious. I remember the day he tried to do it to me. Well, I didn't get a tip off this one, and I remembered it. You know, I remembered the exact address and everything where I did not get a tip from. And he comes back with this receipt, and it's got $20 written in. And he's like, I know you did this. I said, did what? And he shows me the receipt. And I see the address, and I'm like, no, I didn't get anything from them, and you know it. Me and you talked about it when I gave you the damn slip. And he even asked me, why didn't you write anything in the slot? I said, because you don't do that. And handed him the receipt. Went back, cooking and making boxes because that's what you do until you get another delivery. Yeah, you help with putting the orders in through the oven, and sometimes you'll do dishes, sometimes you'll do boxes, sometimes you'll do front counter, wherever you can fill in until you get a delivery. But anyway, I'm doing my thing and all that. I get another one. No tip, nothing like that. Which I didn't care if they gave me a tip or not. If they did, I was happy. If they didn't, oh well. I don't give a shit. And he's talking to me again about the same thing. I'm like, dude, why do you keep trying to talk me into doing shit that's not right? They didn't authorize a tip. If I do that, that can get me in trouble. That's called theft. Oh, no, that's not theft. They owe it to you. They owe it to you. I said, well, I'm not doing that. I just threw that receipt at him. Well, we were real slow one night, and I'm outside smoking, after I'm done doing a lot of work in the back. And he comes out there and he says, we need to talk. I said, about what? He said, well, a couple of these cash tips you came back with were pretty decent sized. And I said, yeah. Because there were some places that gave you a decent tip. Like the one that was real close to the store that would order on the same day every week. And I went to him and he gave me a $15 cash tip. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And he did it every time. Well, this guy tried to say that, I was stealing tips and all this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, what, in the way you were explaining to me to steal tips? He was like, well, something like that. Well, he starts explaining it to me and all this. And I'm like, dude, you know damn well I didn't do that. He's like, well, there's no way we can prove you didn't. I said, yes, we can. There's cameras all over this restaurant. Next thing you know, he's being investigated by corporate. And he gets fired for stealing and for being perverted. Imagine that. When corporate came in to do that, I told them about what he was doing to my tickets. And they said they have already reviewed it, and he's done that to a lot of people's tickets, not just mine. And I said, well, he was trying to peg me for it. And they're like, oh, we'll put somebody in here to keep a good eye on things. Well, anyway, one of the workers there was a babysitter. That's what she did. And me and Tiff's anniversary was coming up. We wanted to go out to dinner for about an hour. And this girl had a very good, I guess, a rap sheet, resume, whatever you want to call it. She had a lot of people that were talking about, her services and how good she was at taking care of little ones. So I trusted it, just trying it out. And I introduced her to Tiff and told her what we had planned. Her to watch the kids for about an hour, me and her to go out to dinner. Because we barely ever, well, I barely ever got anybody to watch those kids. Come to find out, Tiff would say that, but then be getting people to watch the kids so she could go out and do stuff behind my back. Anyway, yeah, it's just another lie. So we go out, we have fun, we come back. I pay Haley. She gets in her Jeep and goes. Well, Tiffany is fucking pissed. And I'm like, what? Oh, so you make friends with women and then bring them to your house, huh? I said, what? So first of all, I make friends with just about anybody I meet. Doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl. Where you been? Why are you trying to play games now? Well, that's just not right. I just don't trust that. Really? Somebody that's never cheated, never even looked another girl's direction like that. That's what you're going to say to me? Coming from somebody that's cheated multiple fucking times? Yeah. Pretty sure that's coming from a different place. She's like, well, you sure you wouldn't do that? I said, would you really have to ask that question? How many times have I been propositioned with you in sight of what's going on and me not even knowing you're there? And what did those women get? They got turned to the fucking curb. What the fuck are you talking about? When we met, I had a girlfriend. And you kept trying to date me. Did you get it? No. You came to my house and deliberately tried to piss her off and make her think that me and you were messing around. And she didn't tell her that. She just showed up. And Jen started thinking this. Yeah, turn that into a fucking ping pong ball situation. All because one girl got told no, and the other girl was a cheating, jealous little piece of shit. And I wasn't even there for that girl. I was hanging out with my buddy, Tony. This is how these girls just insert themselves in places where you don't want them. And then they just tag the fuck along, trying to get what they want. But she didn't tag along with me. She would tag along with Dale. Because normally that's who I was, he would always show up in his truck and come to pick me up for shit. Yeah, I was a good worker, and it would get him out of hot water with his dad so he could go and run with his girlfriend. Yeah, that's basically all I was doing the work he was supposed to do so he could run and play. Then when his dad really started to like my work and all that, he got pissed. Yeah, because his dad was going to start paying, well, his stepdad that he lived with was going to start paying me instead of him because he didn't do anything, ever. Yeah, he would lay around the fucking house all day and then still get a check at the end of the week. And I'm like, why are you paying this kid? He doesn't do shit. And Ron agreed with me. He's like, you know what? You're right. He doesn't do shit, does he? I said, no, he does nothing but cost you money, dude. He's not even your kid. I said, I understand you've taken care of him since he was a baby and all that, but come on, man, you got to teach him something. No, this girl was not nowhere near being thought of as a side chick, a backup, anything like that. I don't do that. My brother does that shit. I don't do that. I'm just friends with people. Never looked at her in any other way but friend from work. That's it. Come to find out, Tip's messing with a dude named Chris at work at Duncan. Imagine that. That's where that came from. Yeah, it was like she would just try and get a job so she could manipulate people into being her little team. So they would block whatever she was doing. And I'm like, what the fuck is it? Why are you doing this shit? Yeah, I remember the one day I dropped the kids off and I went through Duncan. I put them on the bus. I went through Duncan drive-through, uh, and I forgot my lighter. And I, get my coffee. Asked them to all her workers through the drive-through if I could get, matches or a lighter for one of them. All of them smoke. They say, no, nobody smokes here. Really? I said, then why are they out back smoking? Oh, they're not out back smoking. So why is Tiffany out back then? Because when I pulled up, that's what they said. She was out back smoking. I said, okay. Because I didn't notice her, and she's the one that, normally works the window or the headset. So I was like, that's weird. She was out back with Chris and another dude. And what's funny is when you pull out of the drive-through, the back door is right there. You can't really see it from the drive-through window, but once you pull forward, you can see everything. Now, after my order was done and I go to pull forward, which is not long enough to smoke a cigarette, you'd think that she'd say hi to me or something when I go to pull forward, right? No. She runs back into the restaurant with these two dudes. So I'm like, all right. So I go around and I park and I go in, and there she is, hiding in the back with those two dudes. Now, she was telling me, just about her first day and all that, telling me about all the people she worked with, and they were all girls. She never mentioned not once one dude's name. Not once. And the whole time, up until this point, I didn't believe any dudes worked on her shift. Never heard of one. Come to find out, there's four of them. Oh, it gets worse. I got a call one day from her, which she never calls me from work, and she's hysterically crying. I mean, bawling her eyes out like she just lost a family member or something. And I'm like, what's going on? She was like, well, they fired him. I said, fired who? And she said, they fired Chris. I said, who the hell is Chris? And she's like, one of the co-workers that worked with us here. I said, well, this is the first of me hearing of his name. And why are you calling me crying that this guy got fired? She gets mad, hangs up. Whatever. I don't got time for this. And hangs up the phone. What do you mean you ain't got time for this? What the fuck? So, of course, when she gets home, this is after she had done the thing with the car, saying that she had ran out of gas and had to park it at the gas station that was close to the Dunkin', which there's no fucking way. You had a quarter tank of gas in that car. I would run from here to Joppatown, which is a 45-minute run, on E. Okay, I would work all day with my car sitting at the warehouse, get off, go to the gas station, get a little bit of gas, and go home. So don't fucking tell me you ain't gonna make it not even 5 minutes up the road. With a quarter tank of gas, yeah, you didn't run out of gas. So I called my stepdad and asked him to go up and make sure nobody's, vandalized or messed with my car, because Tiff said that she parked it at Sunoco gas station and we were friends with the owners. Well, I was. She was friends with the one of the girl employees that worked there. Right? So I called him and asked him if my car was there. He said no. So then I had my stepdad circle the building, make sure nobody's fucking with it, because we already had windows busted out from her parking it up at the top for some odd reason. And she didn't park in our parking spot. She parked it parallel up top on the dirt road that was like out back. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? The next morning, I thought it was out front. The next morning, it's not out front. And I'm like, where's the car? Oh, well, I parked it. Why would you park it up there? I go up there, and our back windows are busted out. Huh. Who'd you piss off? First thing I asked her. Nobody. Why? I said, well, all of our back windows are busted out of the vehicle. And somebody got under the hood and messed with all the vacuum lines. Just unhooked all the vacuum lines. So I fixed it all. Got all the windows put in. Of course, I have to lose a day of work. And I was the one that paid for all the glass to go back in. Right. Then this thing with Chris, her crying about him getting fired. Then she gets fired the very next day. And I went up to talk to the lady that, I talked to get her the job. And she's showing me video footage and everything of them doing things that people should not be doing. And it's not just with Chris, it's with the other dude and one of the other guys there too. Yeah. She did the same thing when she got a job at Peebles. She did the same thing when she got a job at Valero. And she did the same thing when I got her the job at Men's Warehouse. Well, it was Jose Bang, but she was only supposed to be a key holder and a manager, and they started getting her to be, one of the suit fitters, telling her that she'd make more money. Come to find out, she was messing with customers and getting paid to mess with customers, if you know what I'm saying. One of them was a fucking cop. One that hated her as a child. Warner. Yeah. Yeah, this is a dude that was a state trooper and then a town cop for a while. And when we were kids, my brother did something. I don't know what the fuck he did, but Warner showed up here saying that it was me that did something. It wasn't me. I don't know what the fuck my brother did. Something about stealing a bicycle. And come to find out, it wasn't us. And he's calling us bad eggs and all this other shit, and it's not even us that did it. All because I had a mountain bike and my brother had a mountain bike, and they were both the same. They were a red mountain bike, 10 or 12 speed, and the bikes they're looking for are black, and another one was blue, which don't match our bikes. I don't know. He just come up there knocking on the door, running his mouth about William Jackson and pointing at me, and I'm like, I'm not William. I'm David. I'm not William. Well, they said red hair. I have blonde hair, you jackass. My hair is not red, it's blonde. Now it's a little like a sandy blonde color with a little bit of red tint, but when I was younger, it was fucking bright blonde. Yeah, there was no red in my hair. My brother had fire engine red hair. Yep. So, not only that, it wasn't us, dipshit. Well, it was crazy because my brother had just gotten back from somewhere on his bike shortly before this happened. So I was starting to think that maybe he did have something to do with it. But I don't know. But anyway, this is also the cop that used to chase my brother. My brother used to run from him in his Jeep. And, oh, he launched him into a pond and everything else, getting away from him. Pissed this man off. Yeah, he did. So, I don't know. All I know is I didn't have anything to do with it. I was not even around my brother that day. Yep, started from zero. Had a bunch of females fucking with shit, like I told you. Like it matters today, right? Hardworking men just don't matter. Most women will make them demonized just because they're a hard worker and make that woman look like a piece of shit. Oh, the friend that we were renting off just before we got Cedar Hill, yeah, she tried to go behind my back while I'm framing and doing flooring and mess with one of her ex-boyfriends that just happened to be friends with the people we were renting from, and he would come over there. I didn't know anything about that. Well, because I was right about getting the place and we got it and she was so happy and all that, she turns around and conjures up this story with the people that we're renting off of. What she forgot is that those people we're renting off of know me very well. I used to date their daughter, and their daughter happened to be there with Joey. And Tiffany started bringing up this, oh, he abuses me, he does this, he does that. And mind you, this was one of my ex-girlfriends jumping down her throat because of what she said. And I didn't know anything about that until I got, back to the house. And I'm hearing the argument going on. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And Tiff was silent. She just like kind of hid back in the kitchen corner. And my ex's mom, which I was renting off her dad and her mom, And she ended up coming back to live at the house because of shit going on with her husband at the time. But anyway, I come in and it was Yvonne's mom that first said something. And she's like, "Remember that time when I smacked you in your face thinking that you hit Yvonne?" I said, "Yeah, I do." And that's when Yvonne like turned around and snapped. And she was like, "I fucking told you he's never hit me. I hit him that night because I thought he was coming home late from work because he was messing around." And she was right. She hit me because I came home from Wendy's at like 2 in the morning. And mind you, it doesn't close until 1. And like I said, we had to deck all the tile, the walls, the floors, everything, because we had a sparkle certification. And our manager didn't tell us shit until the last minute. Yeah, my sister was with us. Yeah, I worked with my sister there. Um, I was 15. Yeah, this is all before I went to work with my Uncle John. Just before I did. So, um, I come home, and at that time I was staying with Yvonne. I wasn't living at my house. I was paying rent to her dad and living there with her. And when I walked in, I didn't really get a chance to answer. I come in the door, I turned around, and she was just in my face, pissed off as a motherfucker. And I was calmly trying to tell her, but she wouldn't let me get a word in. So I was just going to wait until she was done. Well, by the end of her conversation, she was mad and slapped me. And I grabbed her hands, I picked her up, sat her on the bed. I said, "Don't ever fucking hit me." I said, "You can be as mad as you want at me, but don't ever hit me." That's when her mom came in. And all she seen was me talking to Yvonne on the bed, spun me around, and she slapped me. And I'm like, "What the fuck?" That's when I started getting pissed. And she started running her mouth and all that. And Yvonne's dad gets up and comes in there, and then I'm fighting with all of them. And Yvonne's the one that yelled over top of all of them, "He didn't fucking hit me, I hit him." Oh, yeah, nobody cared after that. Evander, "You fuck touch my daughter." Shut the fuck up, big man. I'm not scared of you either. I didn't fucking hit your daughter. If I did, I wouldn't be sitting here lying about it. I'd be telling you, "Yep, and this is why." And it would be because she hit me or something along those lines. She's not getting hit for no reason. But to fill you in, big man, I didn't fucking touch her. And that's when her mom started, "Yes, you were. You were holding her hands and talking to her while she was on the bed." I said, "Yes." Was I yelling at her? Was I striking her? No. I'm controlling her hands so she doesn't fucking hit me again. But anyway, somehow, this is the conversation that got pulled up between these two because Tiffany was trying to tell them that she was being abused and all this. And even Yvonne's mom was like, "I've never heard you two fight, not one time." And Tiffany didn't say anything after that. And I looked at Tiffany and I said, "So you're trying to tell these people that I'm abusing you?" And she would just look down. And I said, "When exactly have I ever hit you? We've been together for, shit, 4 years. When have you ever been hit by me? Since you want to tell these people, why don't you tell me?" She wouldn't say anything. And that's when Yvonne got pissed off, and she's like, I'll be goddamn. I know a lot of the girls he's dated, and he has never hit them. Oh, yeah, then she got all pissed off about that. Well, it's just because it's your ex-girlfriend, and she likes you. Oh, Lord. Yvonne and me were never like that. When we broke up, we decided to just be friends and let it go. Yep, me and her had a long talk at the end of her driveway after I beat my brother up at her house. Yep. Well, why didn't you blame her? There's a reason I didn't blame her. One was because she was young. Two, because I know my brother, and that's what he does. He's very good at manipulating women. Oh, don't think that she didn't get any of the blame. She did. I just didn't, hold it against her like that. This is what prompted me to talk to Jen the way I did when we first started dating, and Tiffany, because we were all young. And I wanted to make sure that these women weren't just playing games and having some type of, hot girl summer with me, because I don't play that shit. And they knew it from the beginning. I don't go for play school freaking boyfriend and girlfriend bullshit. It's we're either going to try for a serious relationship or we're not going to do this. It's that simple. Well, that sounds controlling. No, that sounds like communication and letting people know where you stand before you start. That way they can't say, well, I didn't know that. Yeah, you did. We talked about it. Yeah, I did everything that most people don't do. As in, make sure everything was discussed. What we wanted, what we didn't want, what we were hoping for, uh, what we expected. Making sure that, the other person agreed to that type of relationship or situation. As in making sure that they're not wanting to run around and test the waters with multiple people, because some people like to do that. And if they would have said that, I would have said, no, that's not for me. You can go ahead and go do that. But yeah, hearing that video come up on YouTube, I just had to play that audio for y'all, because I was just talking about that not too long ago. Now, I have never seen a video until that one that depicted it perfectly. That, well, that's a little off, because that woman actually went to nursing school. The girl I was with did not do any of it. She just lied. And we still don't know what she did with all that money. Oh, why did I decide to try to marry her? One was I didn't want another relationship after her. I really didn't. I didn't want to be in that one, but this is what it, grew into. And I thought after we got the place at Cedar Hill and all that she was comfortable. She was, content, happy with the life that she had, not trying to run off and, mess around. Come to find out, that was a complete lie. She had them coming to her as soon as I left the house. This is why, after I sat down, after going to the hospitals and all that, and seeing what they were pulling in the fucking hospital, David and her together. Yeah. Is why I was like, And I even told her I need to take a break. And I need to go sit by myself for a while. And she gets mad at that, acting like I'm her, personal taxi. And I said, they just told you that you need to stay here with David for at least a day or two. I said, all I'm doing is taking a few hours to myself. And she did not like me being out of her view. Yeah, wonder why. Yeah, we go to the police station because they want to talk to us. So we go there. This is how the sheriffs told on themselves that they were the ones doing the investigation after they lied to us about doing it. And I'm trying to, signal to the detective that me and him need to talk alone. Because I've got her right there. I can't say it in front of her or she's going to flip script and not be showing what she's been showing. And he's not listening. So I'm like, do you need to talk to us alone? Trying to give him the hint. And he's like, yeah, in time, we will. Well, don't say that, you dumbass. You should have said yeah and went and talked to me. But I got to make sure that they're going to lock that door and not let her run. Because I know as soon as I walk back there to talk to him, she's going to take off. Oh, yeah. So I tried to talk to him over the phone while I'm keeping an eye on what's going on. This dude tries to get her to let him come and interview David, and she doesn't want any cops at the house at all. She uses, whatever manipulation tactics she can use. And he calls me up and says, well, she won't let me see your son. I said, I already gave you permission that you can interview my son. Why do you keep doing that? Get your ass up here and interview my son. Well, I can't do it without mom's permission. Bullshit. I'll bring my son right to you. What are you talking about? You can interrogate him with me in front of you. No, we ain't going to do that. Oh, why not? Well, that'll upset mom. I don't care. Why are you so worried about upsetting mom? You act like mom is the queen of his fucking life. Yeah, we weren't even split up for two full years yet. And she was playing games back and forth the whole time throughout those 2 years with me and everything else. So, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? We have general custody. What are you doing? So he ends up going up there and investigating my son after I'm not around. Her mom, and David manipulate him completely. And he falls for all of it, even them giving him a false report about something that has nothing to do with the incident with the kids. So he shuts down his investigation and leaves them alone. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, well, she told me about... Do you not realize she just diverted you from what her and her mother were doing? Do you not realize that? And he starts yelling at me about what this report says. And I said, That should never happen. And he's reading the rest of the report, and even at the bottom of the report that he was yelling at me for, from a hospital, it says that this never happened. This was, constructed by mom. It says right there, it never happened. And he's yelling at me until he reads that part, and he's like, oh, wait a minute. It says right there that it didn't happen. I said, exactly. You're getting all upset about it. I said, even if it did happen, that that report was put in 2013. This is 2019, dude. That was 6 years ago. How does that have anything to do with what happened in that vehicle? Well, you're right. Yeah, she just diverted you, you jackass. And I even told him before he went up there, she is very good at manipulation. You need to really pay attention. Come to find out, this guy's best friends with my stepdad. I said, Pop, what the fuck? Pop just gets an attitude with me. Oh, arguing about dumb shit, walks out the house and leaves. Has nothing to do with the situation. Just a verbal distraction so he would walk out of the house and leave. Yep. Then I find out that Brian's been messing around in it. He was the one that went to her mom first and talked her into all this shit. Just before Tiffany started fucking around and went back to her mom. And then I find out that her and my cousin Chris, they were working together at Subway, turning the Subway into a fucking drug haven. Yeah, they were using it to fucking sell drugs. She was selling pills and crack, and so was he. This is where she was getting all this money from. Yeah, that's another reason why we broke up, because I told her I should turn your ass in. You're on video. Are you stupid? I said, first off, the only reason you have that job is to fill in when my work gets slow. That's all it's for. You work maybe 1 or 2 days a week. That's it. Yeah, that's all it was for. Just so she would get some time out, make some money because she said she wanted it. And because towards the winter, sometimes a week or two or 3 I'd get slow. And I would just help out then. That's all. I had plenty of money saved up, so I'm not too worried about it, but I do go into conservative mode when there's not that much work coming in, so I don't spend as much. And mom took that as, oh, we're broke and all this. I said, no, I'm just not overspending on dumb shit. And she got mad. Why? I don't know. Yeah, it was like all these women that were around and seen all this shit and knew that this bitch was lying, just all of a sudden pulled the feminist card. Don't know. Maybe because I was bitching out feminist on Facebook. And you damn right I was. Y'all can say what you want. Feminism has killed families, killed kids, destroyed fucking life as we fucking know it. All because they wanted to send men to war and take over their fucking money. Yeah, bunch of gold diggers. Fuck out of here. Well, does that mean you don't think that we're equal? No, you fucking moron. I believe we are exactly equal in fucking mankind view as in human. We are both designed to play a specific fucking part in life. If you get into working on vehicles or welding or things like that, that's all cool. Don't be bringing all this fucking powder puff fucking female bullshit into where it doesn't need to be. It wastes money, it wastes time, there's no fucking sense in it. And this is what they do, just like the girl that tiles Texas. This bitch is making billions of dollars all because she's a female that runs around in a fucking tank top and a pair of fucking yoga shorts on a job site. Knowing she's got 3 dudes that are off camera that help her with every fucking thing. Yeah, she only shoots segments of her doing it by herself. But that's not the point. You're out there getting fucking streetwalker attention and taking over a man's trade. And these motherfuckers will hire her because they're perverted, not because she's good at what she does. Then she gets paid off of YouTube because she's perverted. This is what I mean. You're bringing in perversions into our field, and these men are, well, a lot of those males already have a problem with perversions. There are general contractors that don't give a fuck about a man that can fucking perform when he can stare at a fucking half-naked girl all day. He's going to hire her, whether she sucks or not. All of a sudden, he knows how to work. Imagine that. You think they weren't planning on this psychological bullshit? Yes, they were. And I think it's funny. None of these women were fucking doing that shit until men started checking out and telling them, fuck you, go on your own way. So they decided to attack their business, which is businesses they're not good at. They bring this lustful perversion shit into it. Oh, I'm just trying to be cool. Fuck you. Men work with their shirt off. No. A lot of perverted F-boys do that. And it's for the same reason. But the male body is not considered so desirable to look at as the female body is. And they know that. Yeah, it's a psychological fucking game. Oh, just because of what I'm wearing, that's a problem. Yes, it is a problem. You know it's a fucking problem. Women's clothes are so thin anyway. They are very light and breathable, okay? Air goes right through those motherfuckers. So don't be telling me you have to have a V-cut low top with your boobs hanging out just to be cool. No, you don't. Your guys' internal temperature is fucked up anyway. Because it's pretty funny. As soon as they're off work and not that, they're not looking like that anymore. Imagine that. Now, some of them, because men will say that, they will try to keep up that look all the time. It's for the same reason. Yeah, I had one girl that I was redoing carpet in a job, and she was there supposedly refinishing the hardwood. Okay. And because the steps come down to where the hardwood was, I told her, I said, I'm going to leave this part of the, foyer up. There's a little landing with a step down to where that way she didn't have to worry about getting any stain or finish on the carpet. And I even showed her. This is an electric tacker. It's going to be right here. All you got to do is tuck this in and tack it at the bottom, and you're done after, you're all finished, because she was going to be there for 3 days. I was going to be there for maybe an hour or two. Well, I get a call from the store saying that I didn't finish the carpet. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They were getting hardwood refinished, and I left the bottom part flapped up so they wouldn't destroy it. And he's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. He's like, well, that chick said that you didn't do none of the work there. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? And I showed him all the pictures from it. And I said, she doesn't even work for this company. She was trying to get me in trouble. It didn't work. He's like, oh, no, that looks great, man. What the fuck is she talking about? I said, I don't know. I guess that little bottom step that me and her had a discussion about, that way she wouldn't get finish on my carpet. Well, when she finishes, she never attaches the fucking carpet like she was told to do. The reason why it's not attached is because you are over here fucking around, not doing your job. Yeah, you've already been there for fucking 8 days, and it doesn't take no fucking 8 days to refinish one fucking room of hardwood. Doesn't take that long. Yeah, they're trying to get this job in, and this chick is just dilly-dallying, and they're not saying anything to her. Oh, well, she's new, and she does a good job. How the fuck is she doing a good job? If any one of us took fucking even half that time to refinish a fucking floor that size, we'd be fired. But this bitch gets all the time in the world. Yeah, wonder what she's doing. Yeah, I have never in my life, ever, been on a job and seen a female fucking up the works like that, and everybody's just ha 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 ha. Huh? That's what I mean. They don't get treated the same. They don't. They do not get fucking treated the same. They get treated way better. They get paid better. They get fucking more lenient. They can fuck up and destroy shit, and nobody makes them pay for it. It's fucking insane. Then you got these other feminist bitches out here that, now that women are in it, that's all they'll hire. What does that do? It cuts all the men's throats. All of them. There's supposed to be laws against that, isn't there? Yeah, wonder why things are all fucked up. Yeah, it's because of these females.